With me now here in studio is Marco Mendicino, former Chief of Staff to Prime Minister Mark Carney and former Public Safety Minister under Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Hi, Marco. Good to have you here.
Yeah.
Wish it were, of course, under very different circumstances. I just want to start off with your reaction. I mean, everyone was glued to this last night as it unfolded in kind of shock and horror. Your thoughts?
Well, like everyone, I've been watching the coverage today, and my heart goes out to the community. And by all reports, this is a tight-knit community. It's a community that knows hardship, but also knows how to stick together. And it's a community where everybody knows everybody else. And so you can just imagine that their world has been completely shattered. You've got families who are coming home, and there's an empty seat at a dinner table, or tomorrow there will be empty desks where students should be. The degree of trauma is unspeakable. And if there's anything that I think the country can do, is just to really try to rally around them.
It certainly happened today. Before I get into sort of the mechanics of what a Minister of Public Safety would be doing right now, you know, politically, that happened today. I have to say, like, it was unreal to see the reaction in the House of Commons, the canceling of question period for everyone watching, the canceling of regular business. It'll resume tomorrow, but each of the political leaders on their way in the morning and then, you know, formally during the afternoon stood up to make their comments about exactly what you just described. What does that say to you?
The right thing to do, which is putting politics aside and seeing parliamentarians of all different tribes and at every different level of government coming together and putting aside debate and really demonstrating solidarity and trying to find the words, because truthfully there are no words that will console the families tonight. I mean, that is the harsh truth, having grieved with families of victims in this moment. But it's not just about the words, it's also about showing up. And there are different ways in which political leaders can show up. I think allowing for some space for families just to absorb as best as they can the initial news. There's shock there right now. There's probably a lack of ability to process what is happening. And I think some time and some respect for the community as they get the supports that they need from first responders, who also have a crucial job to do right now in these moments. So it's one part trying to find the words, although probably not succeeding to a certain extent, and then being there, being present, and trying to find some light in a very dark moment.
You lived through a number of tragedies in the portfolio
yes.
of public safety. I know the minister now, Gary Anandasangri, is headed up to the community. He'll be there alongside Premier Eby a little bit later tonight. What sort of role does the federal government in instances like this play? And in particular, like, is there any intersection with the investigation or asking questions, at least of law enforcement, of what happened?
Well, there's an operational role, which is to oversee the work that the RCMP is doing in the region and in the community. And you just played a clip of a briefing that the Deputy Commissioner of the RCMP in British Columbia gave to provide some information and provide some initial shedding of light on what happened. And those are extremely difficult briefings to do. But I think just more supportively to try to be present. And hearing MP Bob Zimmer earlier on your show say that he's heard from different representatives who basically offered whatever it is they can do.
Including the public safety minister,
including
right?
The public safety, including Gary Anandasangri, who is on his way there along with the Premier, to just say on a practical level, what can we do? How can we help? Are there victim services that we can provide? Are there additional professionals that we can bring into the community at a pace and at a measure that is right for the community? And I think listening. I mean, I think that was the other thing that MP Zimmer said that that I think is the right thing to do, because instinctively, I think political leaders try to articulate,
right,
they try to demonstrate leadership, but in my experience, I think even more importantly, you just have to just be present and just to listen and try to be supportive as best as you can.
And also from your experience going through stuff like this, how key is, you mentioned the Deputy Commissioner of the RCMP, he was very forthcoming with information today. It was a long back and forth with reporters. It was an opportunity after a number of hours had passed there were so many outstanding questions to get answers on the record. From your perspective in situations like this, how important is it to get information out?
It's vital, especially where there's still a live investigation where you're pursuing a person of suspicion, a suspected shooter. In this case, that was not necessary because, according to reports, the shooter, there was a self-inflicted wound and is dead. So information sharing is important. It is a way to keep the public apprised of any ongoing threat to the community. It is a way for the community to be kept up to speed on certain things that they can do to protect themselves if there's an ongoing threat. And it's a way to ensure that the community is aware of the support that is being offered, not only from governments, but from Canadians more broadly. And again, I think once the initial shock starts to settle, which will take time, because this does not happen overnight, and it does not happen over days. It will take a long, long time. I think that's when there can start to be some processing and appreciation of the solidarity that is forming around this community, like we hope a warm blanket and a hug, because that's what a lot of these families are going to need.
I'll leave it on that. Thanks a lot, Marco. Really appreciate it. Former federal public safety minister Marco Mendicino.